I worked weekends, I didn't believe in vacation. And so I really pushed people to work hard.
Have you ever met a person who was a great reader when they were young who was not successful?
The way I tend to view problems is from a physics standpoint.
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business.
Living that believing life. Out here living that believing life. Every day we living that believing life. Hustle like we living that believing life. Living life, yeah, so we grinding it out. Every single day we be grinding it out. Hustle like we living that believing life. Oh, that believing life. Oh.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So today, let's live your best believe life and learn the 7 best lessons from Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, and other billionaires. Okay, let's kick it off with rule #1. Work hard with Bill Gates.
Your early days, you described yourself as a nightmare boss. Those are your words, not mine. Was your work ethic just very different to everybody else's?
I was fanatical in my 20s. Helping Microsoft lead the way in software was the only thing that I really focused on. So, I worked weekends, I didn't believe in vacation. And so I really pushed people to work hard. Did you? And I was still learning how to manage people, particularly the different skill sets, the sales people, the accounting people. And so, fortunately, I think I'm a little bit better now.
Rule #2, be a great reader with Oprah Winfrey.
And I would say reading is the strongest signal for success in the future that I've ever seen. It is the strongest. I got my first job in radio when I was 16 years old, because I've been broadcasting since I was 16 years old. But my first job I got because I was a great reader. When you are a great reader, you can articulate and speak and command the English language in ways that other people cannot. And people think you're a lot smarter than you are, lots of times, because you're a great reader. Have you ever met a person who was a great reader when they were young who was not successful? You never. It is the absolute best foundation ever in life.
Rule #3, use physics principles in your thinking with Elon Musk.
And the way I tend to view problems is from a physics standpoint. I think physics is a good analytical framework. And one of the key things in physics is to reason from first principles. This is contrary to the way most human reasoning takes place, which is by analogy. Reasoning from first principles just means that you figure out what are the fundamental truths or things that people are pretty sure are fundamental truths, and can you build up to a conclusion from that, from those principles, and then certainly if you come up with some idea and it appears to violate one of those fundamental truths, then you're probably wrong, or you should get a really big prize or something like that. This may seem like, I don't know, it may seem sort of obvious when it's explained, but it's actually not what people do. Reasoning by analogies is helpful because it's a shortcut. Yeah. And it's mostly correct, but it tends to be most incorrect when you're dealing with new things, because it's hard to analogize to something really new.
Also, if you want to have more confidence and self-love, check out my 254 series. They're free. The link to join on the description below.
You really have to believe the internet's going to be mainstream. A lot of people are going to get out there and use it.
Become so skilled, so vigilant, so flat out fantastic at what you do that your talent cannot be dismissed.
It's so difficult to be a small business owner in China. It took me 5 months to borrow $500.
Rule #4, follow your dreams with Jack Ma.
In my apartment, when we started, 18 founders. And we aim high, we have a dream. We say, we want to become the top 10 internet companies or websites in the world. Guys, at that time, we are ranking several million names. But we say, we want to be number 10, or the top 10 of the world. We want to make this company last 102 years, and we don't know where's our pay next month. Well, when you are poor, If you have dreams, you'll never feel poor. You know what we are doing? So after, we never say we will win next year or we win tomorrow. We say we will win in 10, 20 years. 19 years passed. Today, we are the top 10 websites, internet companies in the world.
Rule number 5, be resourceful with Jeff Bezos.
My grandparents would take me every summer, starting at age 4, every summer, kind of to give her a break, really, for the whole summer. So I'd be with my grandparents and on their ranch in Cotulla, Texas, which is halfway between San Antonio and Laredo. We lived in Houston, and so we would make the 5-hour drive out to Cotulla. They'd drop me off, spend a couple of days there, then they'd go back to Houston. I'd spend the summer. And I went every day to the ranch with my grandfather to help. Now, a 4-year-old boy on a ranch in South Texas is not a lot of help. But I didn't know that. I thought I was helping, and then by the time I was 16, I actually was helping. So I have, I can suture up a prolapsed cow. I can fix windmills. My grandfather was so resourceful, and that he made his own veterinary needles. He would take a little piece of wire and pound it flat with like a oxyacetylene torch, and then drill a little hole through it. And then we did all of our own veterinary work. Some of the cattle even survived. And so we had great fun out there. We built barns and welded things, and he bought a D6 Caterpillar bulldozer used. It was like 1955 model year for $5,000. It was completely broken. The gears were stripped. And then we spent, a whole summer repairing that. And the first thing we had to do to repair it was build a crane to take the gears out of the transmission. And so, what I learned from watching him was just how resourceful he was. He didn't ever call a repairman. He figured it out.
Rule number 6, have the right heroes with Warren Buffett.
If you tell me who your heroes are, I can tell you how you're going to turn out to quite an extent by this point in life. And I have been extraordinarily lucky, and that none of my heroes ever let me down. I mean, the ones I came up with throughout their lives, I've never felt that I've been let down in any way with it. Number 1 was my dad, and had a huge impression on me. My wife, who is here, is one of my heroes. I mean, she is, in terms of she's taught me a tremendous amount, and never seen anybody any better with human beings than she is. And you can, Yogi Berra again said you can observe a lot just by watching. And I watched my dad, and I've watched her, and I had a professor, Ben Graham, back at Columbia, and had a huge impact on me. So I have been lucky in that I've had terrific heroes, and they haven't let me down. And that takes you a long, long way. I've gone through 1 or 2 periods where we're kind of tough in life, but not. I mean, everybody's had that, but having the right heroes will take you right through it.
And rule number 7, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is do good with Mark Zuckerberg.
I kind of think about what we're doing today very similarly to how I thought about where we were at the beginning. I get people all the time who come to me and say, all right, well, you're investing billions of dollars in trying to put internet connectivity in places where we don't get paid for it. It's not something that we'll make any money from for a very long period of time if it works out. But it's this deep belief that you're trying to make a change, you're trying to connect people in the world, and I really do believe that if you do something good, and if you help people out, then eventually some portion of that good will come back to you. And you may not know up front what it's going to be, but that's just been the guiding principle for me in the work that we've done.
Now I have a special bonus clip from Mark Cuban on how to find your path that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. What can you do good on today? Number 2. Who are 3 heroes that you want to start modeling? And number 3. Where do you need to just be more resourceful? And if you made it this far in the video, I want to celebrate you. Give me a hashtag believe in the comments as well.
My dad did upholstery on cars, so if you got a rip in your car seat, you would take it to where he worked. My mom worked odd jobs from wherever, and we lived in an okay neighborhood, but we weren't poor by a long shot, but we were truly middle class. And over and over, my dad didn't go to college, my mom didn't go to college, and so they would beat into me, "You're going to college." And they used to make me work at odd jobs so that I would learn the value of work. And I'd go where my dad worked doing it with cars, and he'd make me sweep the whole, and this place was nasty, make me sweep all the time, tried to get me a job in a mill, but couldn't get me a job in a mill. My mom wanted me to lay carpet because she was worried about me if I didn't have a trade. And so she got a friend of hers to try to teach me how to lay carpet. And if you ever go, there's this little office in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you trip over the carpet, that's where I learned how to lay carpet. And I was going through these things, I'm like, this is just not me. And I always had that individual spirit to say, okay, I can come up with things that can make me money. I mean, when I was 9, I would sell baseball cards. When I was 12, I told my dad I wanted a pair of basketball shoes. And it just so happens he was playing poker with his buddies, who were all probably rip-roaring drunk at the time, and I just didn't realize it. But I was like, Dad, I want a new pair of tennis shoes. The new Beta Bullets were coming out, or whatever they were, and new Converse. And he's like, you see those shoes on your feet? They work just fine. When you have a job, you can go buy whatever you want. I'm like, Dad, I'm 12. I don't have a job. And one of his buddies stood up, well, not stood up, but he said, hey, I got a job for you. He had these boxes of garbage bags. And he's like, I've got these boxes of garbage bags. I don't know what to do with. Why don't you sell them? I'm like, cool. What do they cost me? And they literally were a box of 100 these blue garbage bags that he would sell them to me for $3. And then I went door to door. And I was like, hi, my name is Mark. Do you use garbage bags? And I learned I could sell. It was just like, okay, $6, I'll drop them off whenever you need them. Just call me. And I made some money, bought my shoes, and that just gave me confidence, and it took off from there.
If you want more lessons from Musk, Buffett, and other billionaires, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
And I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of people, 99% of people disagree with me on.
It wasn't as though in creating these companies that we thought that we would be successful.